Hey, what do you think about mines as a place to like I see you've got separate accounts
Yeah,
with Imaginarium and then the Vapor Test. Like,
yeah.
are those groups that you formed or
No, the channels. So like I have, but we do have groups. But yeah, they're
huh?
different. They're different channels. So like I have SatoriD. I have what I changed to the Minds Underground, but it used to be back in the day, the Minds Panel Show, and then Infinite
Uh-huh.
Imaginarium, and then I started the Vapor Test. To like experiment with like one particular strain or thread, but also too in like doing more of like taking out that cyberdelic strain that I'm always picking at, and kind of like
Yeah,
kind of
I
like
remember
yeah.
the Rushkoff things on those. They were pretty good. I noticed on mines when I was at the create post stage that I
Uh-huh.
could select like a Creative Commons license for the
Oh yeah,
post,
yeah, yeah.
which is cool because I think you can do that anyway, anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems a little presumptuous, maybe. But if it's built into the platform, it's a little more legitimate seeming.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It seems like you and the other folks I met have kind of mixed feelings about mines, but you obviously like it because you keep jamming on it over the years. It
Yeah,
seems kind of interesting to me. So I
yeah.
don't know. What do you think about it as a way for me to like build a wiki to try to get some of this stuff off my chest
Yeah,
with a
totally, totally.
DC license?
I do think minds. That's why I like. For a lot of us, it's like different reasons, and minds is it's always probably like a multitude of reasons, but it's simply too. It's a kind of a good tool, like regardless of the branding aesthetics of the overall mindset. Sometimes I have a particular pet peeve about, I guess. But at the same time, I know, and why I have stood is that like I can influence the site. I can create my own thing and have like my own. I mean, I have even to the point to like I know Bill and I have talked to him, who is the creator or
Yeah,
CEO of Minds, and where me and my group, just stating our opinion and say being who we are and saying different things. The site has moved in like that direction. That's part of why like I changed like the channel to like the Minds Underground. It's like I changed because like early on too. I think I told you this. Like there was like this like weird thing about like the branding, or especially early on, because we called it the Minds Panel Show, and the idea was it's supposed to be like open source. It could be like for anybody. And even when I first like started that channel, I gave the password to like 23 different people. And then I remember this one girl, she's like, why don't do that, Satori? Like, what if somebody hijacks it? I'm like, as far as I know, no one has actually used it. Like, I'll start worrying about that when someone actually logs on besides me. And then so like later everybody's like, oh, why is Satori talking for mine? It's like, oh, who put Satori in charge? And I'm like, fool, like if you want to do a fucking show, like do it. And then later I was like, okay, whatever. I kind of like, I think we talked about this before. Like, if I'm gonna get like this kind of like responsibility and slash like a little bit of stress and pressure from like even people that I don't really know or interact with, and I was like, oh, this is not even the idea that I really like or like want to work on. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Imaginarium. But like over the years, I'm kind of like, oh, I know like this other story about mines. It like subsets in my mind. Like I know the fucking true story about mines. Like I was there, like in the room when this happened, and then like my friend, he got in trouble for doing this, and we're the ones who told like Bill to do like the crypto, and then like like the gatherings with like Jitsi, like that was actually like me and Gov Spiders, and like we're the first ones to like tell Bill about that, and then like later it happened, and like like it's always funny like those couple of developments. Even Minds Matrix was like Minds Gaming's idea first, but yeah. Anyways.
So I'm looking at the Vapor Test channel right now, and is that something that can compose posts, or it's just a vessel for other accounts, right?
Yeah, the Vapor Test is well now I turned it into like doing the count, the Imaginarium count, and then like and then like it's actually I turned it into like because I was playing around with a bunch of stuff, right? Like the voice to text apps, and I had like those videos on there where starting to like build this like weird little narrative about like the dream time and like these concepts of the no walls.
Yeah, it's really kind of been spiking in weirdness lately. Awesome. Lately, actually, I love it. Have you been using AI like in any capacity with it? Like with the burrows?
Well, not with the burrows stuff. The burrows was like the some of the newer stuff. I've been I've been telling within the vacuum. I read this one article. I had to find it. I didn't read all of it, but I read this one section where she's like she's a AI researcher, I guess. I don't know, but she starts talking like she's her journals and her like reflecting her like interacting with it and with her first thoughts, and then she like was saying about how at least at that time, as far as she was aware, like she was the only one interested or using it in the way she was using it, and then and then she even modified it to where, and okay, so like when you interact with the Chat GPT, it gives you one output and then you can like regenerate it, but she wanted it to like when she put in something to do like 6 generations of it, and just to see like how it's doing it. And she kept on doing this, and she said she got like all this like kind of interesting stuff. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then so like I have like these different folders where I'm like regenerating like different phrases. So basically I'm like teaching it certain things to use in certain ways. And anyways, that's how the recent stuff, well actually this recent count, so that was like a mixture of things. Those videos that are like the AI voice are pretty much some sections of like of this first like drafts of things that I was like trying to get like interesting things out of the AI first drafts.
I haven't actually used it yet. I don't know. I guess I was all caught on my own little trip of finding a relatively novel way to use mind maps. Mm-hmm. It's like finding that some new frequency with Chat GPT. Interesting metaphor, the frequency, the exquisite corpse frequency.
Oh, yeah.
The tile piece that you just put out was rather interesting. I thought, like a piece of landscape or a game chip. I don't know. It's the stuff of page layout. Like with mind maps, if you let it expand, like page layout gets really, really interesting.
Oh, okay.
So lens to mess around with. Yeah, like I was thinking, all this shit could be translated to comic page frames.
Yeah, totally. I think that's what I want to do. I'm slowly doing it, and I guess like I didn't do it so well with Kevin, but I'll like alter it. But the next one I have like Chris Duguid, and there's gonna be 13 tiles, and each of them have like a section of this poem that I wrote a long time ago called Dreamtime. I'm adding
Yeah.
a slightly new stuff to it. But yeah, and so what I'm doing, and I was telling Do Good about this. So the tile is called the blooming of the Dreamtime, and what it is it's so all of these Dreamtime tiles are from one image, and it's me like using the kaleidoscope effect and then using the tile effect to like stretch it out. And so like I'm stretching this image out, and so like the first image is like the one like most collapsed, and so it's just like dots, right? And then I'm stretching out the image, and so it's like blooming the image in this kaleidoscope shape. But yeah, and so like that one image where I use the what's is basically like the tree of life, and it shows like the underworld, and then what the tree of life, and like the sky and the heart, and like yeah, like that one I put in the center of this. It's not the one, not all of these images have one like source cell, right? They're all like of the same one tile. I call it the Dreamtime tile. That one that I use for that one is not of the blooming one, but it's within the family of that design. But anyways, it's kind of it's been funny to like mess around with that. You get really cool like what we were talking about earlier. What are they called? Like those train track like intersections. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Make up a word.
Yeah. But
Nexus.
Like that's what I keep on thinking about. I was first. That's why I fucked around so much with the hyperbolic tilting, because like I kept on like, okay, so today is the ego, right? And the ego is about like having this like highest point of view.
Yeah.
To like oversee everything, and I was just thinking that's how I kind of like felt. Seeing the weather patterns, right? You have to be from like a very high point of vantage, and then like over time, like if you see like these progressions or these sequences, like there's like a rhythm and a way they fit. Like these
time is very important when learning the weather of a given area. People just recognize the patterns and they name the geo-specific patterns.
Mm-hmm. And so anyways, like I think I've been, because so the kaleidoscope one, they have like the one side which is basically mirrored in the middle, and then there's two where it's like a more horizontal mirrored, and then the three gets into like a knot, and then after that then you get like mandala. But like I was like, oh, and I think too, like when we talk about this and like the numbers, like 3 is like the beginning of the knot of like twisting like a combinations, like twisting like a thread together, because I've been thinking about like weaving, right? And I remember like when I was little, I used to do these little plastic weaving things. But like that's like part of like the weaving, or like like when you're I never really braided anybody's hair, but like if you've seen people braid hair where they have the 3 different threads, and then they knot them together, But yeah, I always think about that with like that setting, and thinking about like weaving a narrative, and like okay, there's like different ways you could do it, but like this is like the first step to like tie that knot, and then like you could and then like later it's like, okay, you can do other things.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's a weird thought I always have when I'm like doing those like mandala stuff. But like like it's kind of funny too when I think I mentioned this before, but like there was this other exchange with Kevin, and I was saying, I'm having a lot of fun thinking outside of words. And what I was talking about was like when I do like music and I'm like actually like making the collage, and then I'm or when I'm doing the like different visuals, and I'm like just looking at it, I'm like, okay, but I'm not really like thinking in words, I'm just like, that's like I stumbled upon the within the vacuum kind of idea, just kind of like floating around, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is shiny. Okay, this is something. And then I remember telling within the vacuum, I'm like, hey, I got a really good idea for your music video. He's like, and then I don't want to overpromise. I was like, I'll have something later tonight, and then like within a couple of hours, I had something. And I showed it to him, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is great!" And I'm like, "Yes, I know, I knew." Like it was just like I don't know, it was weird. Like I like when that happens.
Like the flow state.
Yeah, totally. Because I got two ideas at the same time. I put the pin in the Mayan chanting one because I stumbled on both of them at the same time, and I did his like right away.